Every instructor eventually experiences it. For Sarah, it happened on a Tuesday morning. About 20 minutes into class, one student sitting near the back began carrying on side conversations while she was explaining Arizona agency relationships. At first, it was only an occasional comment to the person beside him. Then, the conversations became louder. Before long, several nearby students were paying more attention to him than to the lesson. Sarah wasn't sure what to do. Should she ignore it and hope it stopped? Should she call him out in front of the class? Should she ask him to leave? During the first break, she found David. "I've prepared for difficult legal questions," she said. "I wasn't prepared for difficult students." David smiled. No one likes dealing with classroom disruptions, but every instructor eventually will. The key isn't avoiding difficult situations. It's learning how to handle them professionally. One of the biggest misconceptions new instructors have is believing that disruptive students are intentionally trying to create problems. While that occasionally happens, most classroom disruptions have much simpler causes. Some students are naturally talkative. Others become distracted by work, family responsibilities, or their phones. A few have years of industry experience and enjoy sharing their opinions, sometimes more often than necessary. Understanding why a behavior is occurring often makes it much easier to address appropriately. Experienced instructors also understand that classroom management begins long before a disruption occurs. Remember the expectations Sarah established at the beginning of her classes? By explaining that everyone would have opportunities to participate, asking students to silence their phones, and creating an atmosphere of mutual respect, she had already reduced many potential problems before they ever developed. Clear expectations provide a foundation for a professional learning environment and give instructors something to refer back to if problems arise later. When class resumed, Sarah decided not to embarrass the student. As she continued teaching, she calmly walked toward the back of the room while asking the class a discussion question. Without saying anything directly, her presence alone was enough to end the side conversation. The student looked up, smiled, and rejoined the discussion. After class, David nodded. "That was intentional, wasn't it?" "I remembered what you said about using the least amount of correction necessary." He nodded. "Exactly. Many classroom situations can be resolved through subtle redirection. Moving closer to a distracted student, making eye contact, pausing briefly, or asking the entire class a question often restores attention without interrupting the learning environment. When instructors immediately confront students publicly over minor issues, the situation can quickly become more uncomfortable than the original behavior. Of course, not every situation can be handled so quietly. Occasionally, an instructor encounters a student who repeatedly interrupts, dominates discussions, argues with classmates, or behaves in a way that interferes with learning. In those situations, private conversations are often much more effective than public criticism. Speaking with the student during a break allows the instructor to address the behavior respectfully while preserving the student's dignity. Most students respond positively when they realize their actions are affecting others and appreciate being treated with professionalism rather than embarrassment. Sarah also discovered that not every challenging student behaves the same way. Some students ask constant questions because they are genuinely curious. Others challenge every statement because they enjoy debating. Some dominate conversations by sharing lengthy transaction stories, while others quietly disengage and refuse to participate at all. Effective instructors avoid treating every situation the same. Instead, they evaluate what is happening, consider why it's happening, and choose the response most likely to restore a productive learning environment. David often reminded her that emotions are contagious in a classroom. "If you become frustrated," he said, "the class feels it." Remaining calm during difficult situations is one of the greatest demonstrations of professionalism an instructor can provide. Speaking respectfully, listening carefully, and responding without becoming defensive often de-escalates situations before they become serious. Students watch how instructors handle conflict, and those moments frequently teach as much about professionalism as the lesson itself. Fortunately, truly serious classroom incidents are uncommon. However, if a student becomes threatening, abusive, or repeatedly disrupts instruction after reasonable efforts to resolve the situation, the instructor should follow the policies established by the school or education provider. Documenting significant incidents, including the date, time, individuals involved, and actions taken, provides an accurate record should questions arise later. Documentation should remain factual, objective, and free from personal opinions. At the end of the day, Sarah asked David one final question. "Do experienced instructors ever stop having difficult students?" He laughed. "No." "So what changes?" "You do." She smiled. Over time, she realized that successful classroom management wasn't about controlling people. It was about leading them. Students responded positively when they felt respected, understood the classroom expectations, and recognized that the instructor's goal was helping everyone succeed. Most disruptions could be prevented through preparation, clear communication, and professionalism. The few that couldn't were best handled with patience, respect, and confidence. A well-managed classroom isn't one where problems never occur. It's one where every student knows the instructor will handle those problems fairly, professionally, and with the learning environment always remaining the highest priority. Address behavior, not personalities. Focus your conversation on the specific action that needs to change rather than labeling the student. This approach keeps discussions professional and makes positive outcomes far more likely. Online discussion question 1. Why is it important to address disruptive behavior professionally rather than emotionally? Answer. Students often look to the instructor for leadership. Responding calmly and professionally helps de-escalate situations, maintains the instructor's credibility, and keeps the focus on creating a positive learning environment for the entire class. Question 2. When is it more appropriate to speak with a student privately rather than correcting them in front of the class? Answer. Private conversations are generally more effective when addressing repeated disruptions, sensitive issues, or behaviors that may embarrass the student. They preserve dignity while allowing the instructor to resolve concerns respectfully and professionally. Question 3. How can instructors prevent many classroom management issues before they occur? Answer. Establishing clear expectations at the beginning of class, creating a respectful learning environment, encouraging participation, and building rapport with students often prevent minor disruptions from becoming larger problems.